Welcome to ZFG. I'm Krista, along with Freddie, and remoting in is Carson Block.
Yeah, Carson, good to see you. It looks like the backdrop there reminds me of Ben Axler dropping a short report on Yahoo Finance. Where are you? Where are you?
Man, like, are you ripping on my daughter's room here? You know,
That's exactly what he's doing.
Anyways, how is sunny California? Are you there on Skittles business?
That's right, yeah. Getting the smuggling network ready just in case, which they probably will ban it. I mean, there's just, more retarded shit in California since I've been here. Just the headlines about proposed laws. I mean, I can't even remember these things because they're so ridiculous. But yes, there's been some new stuff since the Skittles proposed law. Like there's actually, so there's this latest thing that I became aware of. It's a proposed amendment to the existing family law code that if in divorce court, if a parent does not recognize the gender identity of child, like a minor child, then
Doesn't recognize?
Then the judge is supposed to weigh that heavily against that parent having joint custody. So that's proposed. It's in the assembly right now. Probably will become law. So yeah, man. I don't know. I think we're going to be we can smuggle Skittles in to California and maybe smuggle minor children out. It's we don't have to deadhead. I'm pretty encouraged.
Yeah, I look forward to the defense when we get caught doing that. Being like, no, please don't focus on the minor children stuff. We're not pedos. We weren't trying to get accounts at one of those large banks. Anyways.
That shall remain nameless, counterparty.
Yes.
Speaking of pedos.
Well, speaking of like minor children, I was in California with you last week, and we've hatched another phenomenal business plan. So I was in California with you the other week, and I think we've hatched one of our better and more practical business ideas. Now, I am working on the prototype.
Hang on. That implies that some of these other business ideas are actually impractical, and I take significant issue with that. They are all practical.
I think Poober actually would have been...
Poober's going to be a smash hit.
Absolutely.
Smash hit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the one that we struggled with over the years. As people know who have built platforms, it's always hard to get kind of good traction on buyers and sellers to a marketplace. So the organ donation platform that we had going, which, primarily organs from China where they actually harvest them, and buyers in countries that can afford it, mostly the US, we did have some issue with the traction there. And truth be told, we were going to do what they would do in China. We just replace all the organs from humans with animal organs and try and pass them off anyway. It's China.
Exactly. Yes, eBay for human organs. I mean, I don't know why that hasn't happened.
Taken off.
Yeah. But this is a good one.
I don't know what it is. Tell me.
So...
Tell us.
Both my wife and Carson are concerned by my lack of use of a helmet when I take my little electric scooter to work.
So am I.
So are you. Now, one thing I pointed out to my wife is, if God forbid I do get into an accident, I'm not so sure that I want to be like completely waist down, fucked up. Head's great. I totally know that like everything else is broken into a million pieces.
You're never going to be able to walk again.
Right.
And your meal ticket still.
And then it goes further. And I was like, look, at the end of the day, I don't have kids. Beholden to my wife. Pretty sure she's got like most of the money earmarked from my will anyway. It's probably going on like high-end flip-flops and stuff. And I was like, so who's really missing out here? My wife, my parents, a few of you guys, maybe not. But you know, if you were a mother, say,
Well, hang on. So like this is all in the background.
yes,
And then a few weeks ago, my wife and I go over to your house to have dinner. And I guess my wife had a little bit too much.
I was like, was there drinking involved? I mean, people need to know that a little bit.
Listen, hang on. Let me tell you the facts, and then you guess whether there was drinking involved. As we get to the door to leave, my wife she's wearing a black and white dress. This is important in a second.
Her zebra dress.
She's evidently trying to put on a shoe at the door, and she just falls straight backwards onto the floor, legs in the air. Like a fucking tranquilized zebra, basically. Flailing. Okay, was there alcohol involved or not?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, that's the, 98% probability. Yes, so there was alcohol involved. And that was the inspiration for the business built on the product.
So what we're thinking is, you're a woman, you want to go out, you can't drink as much as a typical man, certainly not a typical English man, and yet you still want to be a part of the environment, so you keep drinking.
And you have kids, and you're worried.
And you have kids.
Yeah.
So if you were to go out, get fucked up, fall, hit your head, you're leaving those two kids behind without a, parent. And I mean, can you imagine
or
him
you're
bringing
leaving
up
the
kids
fucking
alone?
father leaving the father to raise two
That's
kids,
what I'm,
which is even worse.
Right.
Thinking.
So what we're thinking is drinking helmets.
Okay.
For moms that like to get fucking sauced, okay? So
But they already have this on the market.
A drinking helmet?
Yes.
Oh, shut the fuck. What do you mean they already have this on the market?
I've seen it. I swear to God, I have to. I really have to Google it.
Like a bike
hard
helmet?
hat, yes, with like with a thing attached for.
But is it aimed at fraternity bros or at mothers?
I've only seen women wear it.
Was this in Palm Springs the other week?
No. This was in my house, in my bedroom. No, I swear to God.
This already exists?
I swear I've seen this. I swear, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Maybe we should go to another.
I mean,
look, there are lots of yoga pants out there, but Lululemon is a brand. Like, we're going to be the Lululemon of mothers' drinking helmets.
That's true.
Okay, now you're talking again.
I'm going to have to cancel the prototype.
Like, how is this? Listen, just off the top of my head, how is this for a name brand? Toasted Zebra.
Honestly, I think that's very catchy.
I kind of like that.
I like it.
Shit hot.
Yeah.
It's shit hot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually.
Call the poober. It's shit hot, baby.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to have to get on our bikes here on this, because if there's already a competitor in the market, we don't want to hang around. And now we're giving them all this free publicity with all our 8 to 12 viewers. Shit, people are going to be rushing out next week to buy the already existing product.
Yeah.
Hang on. I think there will be more viewers. I mean, also because, like, I kind of promised today on Twitter that we'd be discussing the joy of this week, which is the takeover bid by Novartis of Chinook. So, people are like, oh, what do you have to say about that? I'm like, tune in to zeros and zero fucks given. So we'll have more than our usual 8 to 10 viewers. I think we'll actually have a number of 20. Viewers, most of whom think, will fucking hate us and want to see us miserable. So too bad for you. We're going to make we're going to make absolute fuck you money with Toasted Zebra mother helmets. This won't matter. Fucking Chinook doesn't matter.
Chinook, what's...
So we should talk about how the day started. Monday morning. It's about, I think it's around 5 something.
I thought you said 4:30 to me.
I don't know. It's blurry at that time.
You called me about 3:30 my time.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah. Phone's got like a couple messages from brokers, like calls from New York numbers. I'm thinking, this isn't going to be good. No one calls you for good news. That's what I've learned. And they're like, get through to somebody. He's like, hey, did you see the news? I'm thinking, the FBI outside my house right now, live streaming. Am I on cops? And it turns out they're like, no, Chinook. I'm thinking like, I'm praying like multiple patient deaths or something. Wasn't that. It's like 60-something% premium. Stocks like literally trading like flat on that. There's like a CVR as well, which is worth $4. Something like, is it gonna like people gonna price that in at some amount? So like I'm thinking like pre-market stocks at 40, and I gotta tell you, when started trading, so I phoned Carson. I'm like, hey, this sucks. He's like, yep, this sucks. Not a lot to do here. But as it started trading and people picked up on this potential FTC issue because Novartis has drugs in a similar class and it doesn't trade right at the takeout price, I'm being like, oh, see, it's not quite so bad. And, there's just this weird thing we've had kind of periods of performance where just the market has relentlessly been grinding higher from like months on end and hedges aren't really working. And, like GSX, where just every fucking morning, even though you knew it was a fraud, you just came in pre-market, you'd see like the stock up 8, it would open like straight up 12, and you're just like, ugh. Like you have this like guttural feeling in your stomach and it is miserable. And this was kind of like quick, extremely painful, short-lived. And you're kind of like, all right, well, we got really unlucky. Big Pharma's done some pretty dumb stuff before. This may be that. Maybe it isn't, and they know something we don't. Okay, like I can kind of live with that pain and move on. It's, not something like I'm pleased about, but it's just bizarrely a much easier thing to kind of focus on the next thing and get back to doing what we do and revisit why it was maybe not a good target. But I don't know, my perspective is it's kind of much easier to kind of just focus on the next thing than when we've had like the GSX thing, which was just grindingly painful for months on end.
I mean, my perspective was it was 3:30 in the morning. I wasn't going to be able to get back to sleep without a shag. It was too early to wake my wife for a shag. It just kind of sucked. Just lying there for several hours thinking about that motherfucker. And I guess the enlightenment that came upon me is that, another example of big companies doing dumb shit with their money. I mean, I'm sure this was well down they'd been working on this for a while before we came out with our report. So at Novartis, there were people who were emotionally and professionally invested in this thing. Pretty hard to, I'm sure, say, like we looked at all this data, but these fucking short sellers, they were the ones who picked this up. I mean, I think from a career standpoint, there's no upside to doing that. I mean, especially when you're talking a development stage drug company. So you have a few years of runway here before this shit blows up. And so you were the, relevant person here. You're probably going to be at another pharma company by the time it does blow up. And in the meantime, you put on your CV, hey, identified and led $3.5 billion acquisition. It's kind of like these allocators who allocate to private equity. Like, that doesn't, if the marks are bullshit and it doesn't actually go well, it doesn't really matter because you're going to be in a different chair by then anyway. So I kind of put it in a similar bucket. Now, look, is there a chance that we're wrong? This thing gets approval? I mean, yeah, there's always that chance. But I mean, this is, I don't know. I mean, I feel highly confident based on the work that we did. And obviously, we went outside of just our own expertise. We did involve professionals in, in the biotech space to help us with this, with our analysis. And based on that, it's not efficacious, it's not safe, and therefore it doesn't get approved. So, but yeah, but if you've tuned in because you want to experience Schadenfreude, like, look, man, you were long this thing. Congratulations, right? Like, scoreboard says you won, we lost. So enjoy it. And, when I get the chance to touchdown dance in your fucking face, I will too. So that's just how it goes. But enjoy. Like, I get it, touchdown dance away.
You know who else is touchdown dancing this week?
Who?
All the dudes who took Saudi money from LIV Golf.
Oh, yeah.
So the PGA Tour
Yep.
has merged with the murderous Saudi regime. I don't really care for golf. I find it boring. I know you've just gotten back into it. It's just not for me. I'm with Winston Churchill. It's the perfect way to spoil a morning's walk. He also said some interesting stuff about Gandhi, if you fancy reading a bit more about the dude, but I'll leave that for off air. Yeah, LIV Golf, who was the Saudi-funded kind of breakaway tour that threw massive amounts of cash at a bunch of players to get them to defect, merged with the PGA. And I think it's pretty fucking gross that the PGA did this.
Yeah, well, slight technicality. They announced the merger. I don't think the merger is final yet. But when the capital LIV, my kind of sardonic joke about it when that tour first came out is, I guess those are the new Roman numerals for 9/11. It's fucking disgusting. Like the Saudi government. These are absolutely some of the worst people in the world. Calling them murderous doesn't really do them justice. Lots of people are murderous. They do it as an art form. The way that Putin used to do before he, had to start having his bodyguards guard his fucking shit because he's too sick to actually think of creative ways to kill people instead of just the old, falling out the window trick. The Saudis are really they are, I think, ranked number one in the world right now in terms of joy that they experience in killing people, especially political dissidents, the artistry with which they do it, and the creativity. And I don't know, like Brooks Koepka, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're the number one golfer in the world, but I don't think you should be with the number one fucking killers in the world. But, this is kind of the world that we fashioned, right? Where only thing that matters is money. And if you have enough of it, your sins get overlooked. If you don't have enough of it and you do something slightly unpopular, like short selling, you get locked out. Like, we're behind the velvet rope. The fucking Saudis are buying the velvet rope, and the investment banks are all in the, inside the velvet rope. So that's, that's the pecking order of the world.
It sucks.
Novartis is inside the velvet rope now too, those bitches.
Yes. Well, so what I didn't realize was I think the chairman of the PGA was the guy whose bank, was it Sanda O'Neill? I can't remember the name of the bank. He was on the golf course, apparently. They had like a significant number of employees in one of the towers. I'll need to go back and find the name of the bank.
Was it Cantor or?
No, it wasn't Cantor. Okay. It was.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sandler O'Neill.
Sandler O'Neill, I think, was the bank, and he had previously invoked kind of imagery of that, and kind of really had kind of harped on that as like a reason to kind of push this off. Obviously, the cash is now cool, and he's like, well, it wasn't these Saudis that were involved. It was just another group of Saudis. So, yeah, really, really fucked up. What also kind of sucks is apparently there was a Trump tweet out there
Right. MBS's role in the planning was done in crayon. Okay. Like, you have to understand, he didn't actually type it up.
Yep. No, and apparently there's a Trump tweet from like a year or so ago just being like, look, guys, this is how this shit's going to go down. They're going to like roll over. They'll take the money. It's done. And like, I got to tell you, man, that guy sometimes really gets how the world works.
Well, he's a byproduct of
Yeah.
The world in that sense.
Okay.
Okay.
More pleasant news, Kristen. Number 3. I know you're excited about this one.
Why am I excited about Frasier Perring the horse? That's what you wrote.
This is breaking news. Zero, you're hearing this first on Zeros. This is big time breaking news. And I wish we had Soren on to break it because he's the one who found it. So Soren Andal deserves the credit for discovering. In all seriousness, in Germany, there is a racehorse, a thoroughbred, I believe, not that I really know what that means, named Frasier Perring. Named Frasier Perring, after the short seller of Viceroy Research. So Soren did attempt to go undercover and figure out what the backstory is. So he posed as a potential buyer, and the email that came back to him was full of discussions of the lineage and the different competitions, and this is a great horse. It's going to be a champion. So unfortunately, Soren didn't know enough about horses to bullshit his way through to really get the backstory. It was just, this is written by a woman. She said, my partner and I were economic students, and we felt that this name is just a really good name. I don't know, man. Really? No connection to Wirecard? Nobody who was involved in the Wirecard fraud, kind of taking the piss here and naming a 3-legged horse after Frasier, or was it Frasier, or was it the insane and jealous failed former short seller who also owns a horse farm, which is located in the exact same place down the road from me right now as the Mark Cahotis Institute for Lap Band Surgery Acceptance, the shared property. But yeah, who was it? It's so tantalizing, it's just, a bizarre story that involves a bizarre horse named after a bizarre person. I just
what a coincidence.
Seriously.
Yeah. So we inquired the cost of buying and maintaining the horse. It was well beyond what we were interested in paying. So we are potentially in the market for a donkey that comes with naming rights.
Well, so there was the idea that we could acquire this horse, enter it into races, but have it just get disqualified by automatically cheating, cutting across the infield right after the start. But again, how do you maintain it? And and I was pretty clear with the other guys who are involved in this discussion that I don't want to buy this thing and then just leave it next to the Autobahn, to fend for its life. That's not right. You got to actually.
It isn't. It is not right.
And I don't want to send it right to the glue factory either. So, it's kind of a conundrum, right? If you really didn't give a shit, I guess you could have had some fun with this one. But I don't think any of us wants to
the best of you.
Go there.
Okay. Moving on. Facebook. Oh, Instagram being a magnet for pedophiles.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah.
No. This is breaking news too.
So
you sent me this.
The thing about this that I found really interesting is not that it was a magnet for pedophiles, is that they had this code. So
that for me
was what was kind of really interesting because if you take, for example, like finance, and there's all this like slang and kind of people refer to like $1 million as a buck or $1 billion as a yard. Like you know, you sort of pick these things up like being around an office, and then like, you know, you ask like, sorry, what does he mean? Like, you know, I'll have like $4 of that. It's like, what's $4 million?
Right.
Okay, got it. So this code was like
pizza, right?
Right. One was
pizza.
I can't remember. It was like to do with the cheese or something, like a cheese pizza.
Cheese pizza.
I mean, so like once again, a data point suggesting that whole Pizzagate thing maybe wasn't that.
and then there was like all this like code around it, and I was just like, who developed the code? You know, did you first go to like the pedo convention, and then you hear a guy being like, oh, I'll grab a slice. He's like, pizza? He's like, no, it means a young boy. And you're like, oh, cool, slice, young boy. Like, how did the code, did it just grow online? To be fair to Facebook, like, how the fuck were they supposed to know that like everyone having like a cheese pizza emoji was like,
was it pizza and a goat? I mean, it was something
pizza
weird.
to go or something. Yeah. So I'm not saying. So the bit that was really toxic was when like, you know, these like little emojis were basically like trying to like code you to go to these really fucked up accounts, which were very obviously like child porn accounts. So it was like, why didn't they shut down the really hardcore child porn accounts? But the code bit I thought was kind of hard to crack, unless Facebook goes out there, hires some undercover pedos, like, you know, guys who have served time, pedo recovery, who go and work at Facebook for a little bit so they can help them catch them before the code gets too bad.
No, but it was supposed to be like Instagram's own algorithms were promoting pedophile content to other pedos.
I mean, again, anybody shocked?
No.
Well, you were.
It's probably how they beat earnings last quarter. They just like turn up the hate spigot on the pedo stuff, and they're like all getting all these new users who are high value.
And the question is, whose ads get best matched up with those algos then?
that's so true.
Yeah.
Probably Novartis.
Novartis. What's that stock with the naked shorts? MMLP.
MMTLP.
MMTLP. Yeah. Probably those two. That would be my assumption.
Okay, well that's cheery and happy.
Yeah, well I got to tell you, the next topic's not exactly sunshines and rainbows.
But so many people tune in to be
new.
cheered up.
Yeah, hit it, Krista.
MW's new UK fund.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
No, I don't know why I didn't see it before. I mean, fucking British guy right there. Like, why didn't you say shit all these years? But so reading the FT's in-depth investigative piece into a London-based hedge fund manager named Crispin Odey, whose firm is called Odey Asset Management, was really interesting. I mean, look, we've actually joked about him on ZFG in the past, obliquely. Like when we had Hugh Hendry on, I made reference to London-based macro managers who go out and get absolutely shit-canned at lunch. And he knew exactly who I was talking about. Like this dude. So I love the FT. Talks about how he frequently would return from lengthy lunches, flushed in the cheeks and sweaty. Everything that, a receptionist wants from a man who's about to, hit on her. So anyway, yeah, the guy's, turns out he's a pervo and he's very handsy and like, there's some genuinely like very fucked up shit that he did. So, they've kicked him out of his firm. But the thing that was really interesting, and I think where there's a strategy here, edge. So I knew for a while that he was well connected in British politics, the Conservative Party, and he was a big pro-Brexit voice. But the FT reported that his donations over 10 years to the Conservative Party totaled £350,000. I mean, over 10 years, that's fucking nothing. So I was just like, Jesus Christ, like the UK is a real country. And last time I checked, and
No, it is, dude. We've got
Okay.
Robbie Williams. It's a real fucking country.
well, I mean, not real
say no
entertainment
more.
anymore. Like after Duran Duran, it was all downhill for you guys.
Duran.
But I mean, maybe after the Stones. But in any event, like there's edge there. That is really inexpensive to buy off politicians. So I think Muddy Waters needs to launch a UK fund. The edge is, rather than doing an average of £35,000 a year, we'll do, £50,000 a year to each party. We'll dictate policy to them. Like we'll hire some former athletes, and just give them enough, money to like take these guys out drinking and, and then tell them stories and shit.
I want to go work in that office.
We will bend the policy to our will. Like I recently wrote a letter to the HMS Treasury, on my thoughts on short selling regulations, but man,
spoiler alert, he's pro short
money?
selling. Biased.
Why didn't I send money though? Like it doesn't take a lot of money. Why didn't you fucking tell me that?
I've been telling you for a long fucking time.
I've been trying to tell you.
5K aside gets you.
I've been trying to tell you.
Little piker. Like that's not. I'm not going to go and pitch investors and say that would be embarrassing to pitch potential investors on a UK fund and say like we're buying them off at 5K a year. Like come on, like you got to be a bit of a man about it here,
right?
So it's interesting that was the key takeaway for you from the article. For me, it was the sweating. I don't think I will ever be able to see a picture of that man again and not think about the clamminess of his palms. The red face
it's so common where you're from.
Common in England, especially after lunch.
Yeah. That wouldn't even strike you as.
Yeah, I had heard from like what I think is pretty good authority that like allegedly the trading system does lock him out after lunch. What I think is actually really shitty about the whole thing is it seems like from the reporting this was extremely well known. Both amongst counterparties and certainly within the firm. And, there was this kind of like move to let's rebrand the firm like, not Handsy Capital and have these guys over there do that. And then we'll just keep this bit over here. And, like what kind of shitbags as human beings allow this to go on for, allegedly 10 plus years. Yeah, line their wallets, feel good about themselves. I mean, look, according to like the FT's reporting, like, and kind of be like, oh, you know what, man, it's time to push you out because like it's kind of damaging for the business. But we totally like turned a blind eye to this as long as like it didn't matter.
But it's not like this was Citadel, right? Where they had like numbers. I mean, this dude was like up and down. I mean, he was just hyper levered. Like I mean, not only are you talking about like low quality people from an integrity standpoint, you got to be talking about like pretty mediocre investors.
Well, it sounds like the sort of the one place they did rank high in terms of quality was the plushness of the carpet. That got a mention, and
I agree.
Look,
we went there once.
Yeah,
this is
and I got to tell you. I think if you're a Saudi despot and you walk in somewhere and the carpet's plush and they're like, would you like to take off your shoes or defecate on the floor? That's probably what appeals.
I'll take the other side. I'll take the other side of that, right? I mean, the Saudis like the marble floors. They don't like plush carpets because it's so
easier to get the blood out.
To clean the blood out of carpet than it is to clean it off a marble floor. True. So yeah, and the bigger the marble floor tiles, it's not just that they're more expensive and and it's harder to do. It's like there's less grout that you have to deal with to clean out the blood. So very practical, Saudis. So I guess in his own way, Crispin was saying, I'm not going to whore myself out to you, Saudis. There are probably plenty of other ways in which he tried, but the carpet thing.
Yeah,
Well,
but anyway,
I guess that's, that was maybe protective of him, right? Because, when you're Crispin Odey, every now and then you go tranquilize zebra as well, and you don't have your drinking helmet on. That big swollen face, that thing can slam the fucking ground pretty hard. The plush carpet, definitely. It's like an airbag for him everywhere in the office.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So look, commend the FT. It was obviously very, very detailed, in-depth reporting. Uncovering some real shitbag behavior. So a lot of respect for that. I think a lot of other publications would have probably shied away from that. So good on them. To second chances, Krista. Next item.
Where are we?
We're at number 6.
Oh, Luckin founder has new coffee chain. Talk to me about that.
So
something with biscotti. Go ahead.
Right. So there are second chances. So Crispin Odey, if you're watching, which I'm sure you do, just turn up in China, all will be forgotten.
Well, what chance is he on with his wife? That's what I want to know.
No, I think she left. I think she divorced him, Nicola Peace. I think that was you.
Yeah. Oh, when he was with Odey?
Yeah, I think when he
was on trial for rape in 2021. Yes, which he was acquitted. I mean, actually, that was one of the crazy things. Just going back for a second, the judge, when he was acquitted, congratulated Odey on reaching the age of 60 with his reputation so intact.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
It's definitely, it was insane.
So the Luckin founder, this is two-pronged. There's going to be a stock recommendation here as well. Not for Luckin Coffee. The Luckin Coffee founder has a new chain. I need to pull the article up here.
I don't have it. You sent it to me.
Yeah.
I don't have mine.
So the kind of thing that really caught my eye that I thought was so wonderful about it was there are second chances. So the headline on Bloomberg, and I missed this the other month, Luckin's disgraced founder is back with another coffee chain. It's called Cotti, which is short for biscotti. It's got 200 venues in 80 Chinese cities. Sure it does. The strategy is the same with Luckin. Expand fast by attracting retarded VCs. Price-conscious coffee lovers who will pay less than $2 for their coffee.
Yeah.
And started with $200 million of investment.
So is there any truth to any of that?
What the? This is 100% fucking true. This is on Bloomberg.
Only 180 million of which was stolen.
Like,
now why doesn't it say that?
What the fuck? Like,
is that so crazy?
Just like
when you read this, Carson, what did you?
No, I mean, look, I guess I'm neither shocked nor surprised because Luckin is going to relist or has already relisted and people want to own it. And, that's all. Like any excuse people have, that's the thing with these investments that are longer duration, right? Like whether you're acquiring a biotech company with a development stage drug or it's private equity or it's VC, it's like, you get at least a few years of a good growth narrative out of it, regardless of how it goes. So at the end of the day, the people who actually make the decisions about allocating money to, buy this shit, it doesn't really fucking matter, like just give me a good narrative for a few years and then I'm on to the next thing. And I'll, if I have to figure it out and deal with this at that point, then I will. So,
I mean, look, the numbers are going to be pretty fucking good.
Exactly. There, it'll be growth too good to be, growth so good it's hard to believe.
But this brings me on to the real investment here. So I only found this out because a friend of mine was in Beijing visiting a Luckin coffee, and so then I kind of was just curious to see where the stock price was, saw this headline from March and was like, oh, how funny. But he sent me a picture, which we'll have up on screen, and I think you guys have it. And what I realized, and this really underwrites the luxury goods thesis for me, is if you look closely, the person at the front of the line ordering a coffee looks to be the kind of person that would identify as male and is rocking a Chanel handbag.
He sent this to us.
So what that kind of tells me is the appetite for luxury goods is fucking insatiable.
Wow.
If dudes are rocking probably like multi-$1,000 handbags, it's not even like a rucksack. You are purely wearing that to flex and show the same or opposite sex that you got money.
Well, when I lived in mainland from '05 to 10, I mean, that was something that we expats used to remark about, especially in Shanghai, the popularity of the man purse. And look, we bag on China a lot in the West for being regressive and, socially regressive. But I don't know, man. I think kind of the explosion of the TQ thing might have come from those guys.
See, I'm looking at this picture. I'm like, is he holding his wife's
Kristen,
purse?
You got to project.
Oh, I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, is he holding his wife's purse? Is that
no wife around?
No, you don't hold your wife's purse because you've already got her locked up. You only hold your mistress's purse.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there's not even a dog in there.
Gotta be smart, Krista. Gotta think.
Gotta think.
Oh shit! What if he's got like a teacup
Think
pig
like
in
a
there?
sicko.
Oh fuck! That does look like a big bag. Can you imagine if you had a little one of those teacup
Now
pigs
that
or
wouldn't
something and it's just
surprise me. I've
winking
seen
away?
that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. If Crispin Odey, had been living in China, you'd see that dude with 3 or 4 handbags at any given time.
All right. What's up
On
next?
to the next. UBS sets red lines for Credit Suisse staff after takeover.
Credit Suisse are fucked now. So
Wait, that's news.
no, but like finally they've destroyed the business model. So there was.
But you knew that was coming.
Again, not news.
But at least for the people there was some hope that they could do some business and leave before it all blew up. Similar to allocating to private equity. So UBS, in its wisdom, to be fair, has this basically a diktat from above that you can't do business with people from places where there's a 99.99% chance that the money is stolen. I don't know if you have a list. Did you have the list of the countries to hand? It's a pretty good list.
Okay, but hang on. Why? Is that because those are all supposed to be UBS leads?
They don't want overlapping business.
That's just because those are fucking UBS leads. Come on, let's get real.
So, I'm looking actually to see if I can find the article. It was, here we go. God, if you search Credit Suisse on the FT, there's like 8 articles a day. Their coverage is fucking
incredible,
awesome. The countries. Bear with me. They're also shutting down the trading of arcane financial products, including Korean derivatives, because those are basically gambling. So UBS chair Colin Kellner said, "We are worried about the cultural contamination."
Well,
countries...
the time to worry about that was before you bought the fucking bank, but okay.
Right. Prohibited activities include taking on clients from countries such as Libya, Russia, Sudan, and Venezuela. How many fucking... What do you reckon? That's 2/3 of the private banking business of CS being shut down overnight?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's kind of funny because there's a whole host of countries that are basically as fucked up and corrupt that aren't on that list. So
I
yeah,
know.
you basically take the ones where like that have basically already failed so hard that all the money that's going to leave those countries has left those countries, and you stick them on that list.
Oh, dude, the
Right.
full list is awesome because I bet you
Oh.
couldn't name the capitals of these, okay? Afghanistan, Albania, Belarus, Burkina Faso, the Democratic Republic of Congo, El Salvador, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Guinea, Haiti, Iraq, Kosovo, Kazakhstan, Libya, Moldova, Myanmar, Nicaragua, Palestine, actually not a country, Russia, South Sudan, Sri Lanka, there's no money there, they're bankrupt, Sudan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Venezuela, Yemen, and Zimbabwe. What a fucking list.
Again, those are UBS leads. That's the point.
Amazing. What a place. What a place it must have been to work. Imagine telling your wife you're going on a business trip to any of those places. Like, what does she think you're
She's gonna
doing?
be like,
Auditioning for
I'm
a
never
part?
gonna see him again.
No, she's thinking you're auditioning for a part in Lord of War, that film with Nicolas Cage.
The good news is probably nobody ever did have to take a business trip there, right? Like, those guys can't wait to get the fuck out of those places themselves.
Right.
So
They're all in London making allocations to Odey. And finally,
That's it.
no,
No, we did it.
that was the big news of the week.
Yes, we spoke about the big news of the week. Chinook.
Oh, I was hoping there was something really exciting.
No, that's it.
oh,
That's all
yeah,
we
I guess
got.
No, that I think was the big news of the week. I mean, we're only halfway through. Hopefully we don't have another day or two.
I know. What are you wanting
The
the
bigger
big
news
news?
this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Fed spoke, but obviously that's not real big news.
Yeah, that's true. The Fed did,
See, I'm looking up. There's tons of drinking hats.
Right,
Helmet
but
hats.
that's not a hard
Helmets.
hat, Krista.
That's a hard hat. Absolutely.
But there's
Are you-
only one toasted
No.
zebra hat.
That's honestly
what?
different. That's got a brim. That's
And you know
I'm
what?
thinking of much more.
We're gonna test it. We're gonna test it in the NFL.
No,
That'll
that's
be the only drinking helmet
I keep on
tested
showing-
on actual NFL players.
I feel like I've had
Too much. To
someone
drink
gave me
sometimes?
sometimes. Yes, I probably Anyway, I feel like I've tested this out somewhere.
Actually, you are. I have to say, from my perspective, right now, you are disappointingly sober, Krista. This is not good.
well, I got to tell you, that was a full glass of vodka like half an hour ago.
Really, your
Yeah, she's been
tolerance
fucking
is something.
crushing it.
Yeah.
Light on the seltzer.
I mean, I don't know, Kay. You gotta go back up to 2 drinks.
I gotta.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Am I
mean, we had this big audience this week of people who want to see us cry over Chinook, and you let them down. by
Well, there's
being
always next week.
non-drunk.
there is. You gonna take us out then?
Thanks for joining us, everybody.